into my talk proper, I'm going to ask for a quick show of hands. So I would like to ask you, who here has ever contributed to an open source project in some way? Put your hands up if you have. Wow! Thank you. That's amazing. It's so great to see so many people getting actively involved. For those of you that didn't put your hands up, I would argue that you're wrong. Everyone in this room has contributed by coming here today. You have engaged with the OpenSSL community. You are now part of our community. Welcome. Thank you for coming. You are already taking part. Now, open source contributions come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. They don't all have to be technical, and just being part of the community is an important aspect of that. Now, I would like to tell you a little bit about my personal journey with OpenSSL. I have been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work full-time on OpenSSL for over 10 years. Now, that opportunity has enabled me to make many contributions, large and small, code-based and non-code-based. But it didn't start that way, and I want to focus on the very beginning of my journey. And that journey started with small steps. So back in July of 2011, I got interested in a personal project. And for that personal project, I needed to use some elliptic curve crypto. And I didn't know a thing about it, nothing at all. I did know a bit of crypto stuff. I had read Bruce Schneier's Applied Cryptography many years before, so I had some kind of idea, but I'd forgotten most of it. I started looking around, thinking about, well, what's the right solution for me? And so I chose OpenSSL as the right thing. So yeah, July 2011, I went to the website. This is what I would have been greeted with: the opportunity to download OpenSSL 0.9.8. So yeah, it looks a little different these days. So I downloaded the source code, I compiled it up, I played around with it, yeah, I started to learn how to use it. And one of the first things that I did was to join the mailing list. So back in July of 2011, we didn't have GitHub then. We didn't have the OpenSSL-communities forums that we have today. So all of the project interaction at that time happened on the mailing lists. So that's what I did. I went and joined the mailing list. And that was an important first step. It was a small step, but joining that community was critical for me. So I believe that community is at the heart of any successful open source project. So for me, joining that mailing list, it actually had sort of significant consequences for me personally. My career took a bit of a left turn, and suddenly I was working for the project. But that first step was about learning who the people on the project were, how they interacted with each other. I learned how things were done on the project. And I learned a lot about how to use OpenSSL. So that was in July. By December of that year, I'd been on the mailing list now for 5 months or so. And I felt confident enough by this stage that I could respond on the mailing list. I could actually post something. And so someone had posted on the list, and their application was crashing, and they were asking for help. So I looked at that and I thought, well, I think they've just made a simple mistake here. So I posted what I thought they needed to try, and they responded and said, thanks, yeah, that was it. And that was such a buzz. It's amazing what you get from being part of that community and giving back to the community. And I felt by that stage, hey, I've learned enough to actually be helpful. And that all started from just joining the mailing list and playing around and seeing what I could learn. So by January of the following year, 2012 now, I plucked up enough courage to make my first ever patch submission. So back then, yes, we didn't have GitHub. You had to mail in your patches. And my particular patch was a fix for the documentation build system. So if you can read diff files, this was the patch I made, which was one line of code modified by adding 9 characters. So this was a small patch, and it wasn't accepted. Oh well, never mind, doesn't matter. I was taking part, that was the important thing. Okay, fast forward a few months. By April, I decided to get a little bit more ambitious. I'd been playing around with the elliptic curve code for quite a while by this point. I'd actually learned how it worked. I understood it a lot better. But my biggest frustration was the documentation. The EC docs at the time were basically non-existent. And it was so frustrating. Why aren't there better docs? Someone should really write some good docs for this stuff. And then I thought, well, maybe that should be me. And so I did. And now this patch eventually did get accepted. It took quite a long time, over a year, so I had to have some patience, but eventually it did go in. Before it went in, though, I had made another patch. This was in March of the following year. This was actually the first one to actually get committed. So this was in March of 2013. It was a minor bug fix. Someone had reported a bug to the mailing list, and I got interested, figured out that I could actually fix it. So I did. 3 lines modified, 2 added, sent in my patch, and a few days later, it was in the codebase. So this was, you can go and look at this now. If you go through the Git logs, that's the first time my name will appear there. It was a small contribution, but again, it was a small step along the path, and I was taking part in a community. My point is, all of these things that I was doing was small steps. And we can all make small steps to help make things better. OpenSSL is your project, built by the community for the benefit of everyone. Everyone's contributions are valuable, no matter how large or small they are. So, my small steps weren't just about technical contributions. They were about joining the OpenSSL community. And fairly early on in my journey, I got the opportunity to meet up with some of the other people in that community. So this photograph here was taken in 2014, and it was the first time that any of the OpenSSL developers really got together as a group to talk about OpenSSL. And yeah, I look at that picture now and thinking, yeah, we're looking a little bit younger there. Some of these people are still active on the project, and some of them are in the room today. So yeah, it's fun to look back at that. So the OpenSSL project itself was formed from a community of like-minded people who believed that together they could make a difference. So at the time that OpenSSL was first formed, US export controls on crypto software were still in place. Access to privacy and security tools was restricted in a very real sense. Those early project members believed that by working together, they could deliver privacy and security tools to everyone, everywhere. They could make a difference. And that is still our mission today. I'll give you the 30-second version of our history. If you meet up with me in the hallways, I can give you the longer version. But this is the timeline. Really, we started back in 1995. SSL EAY was created by Eric Young and Tim Hudson, who you're going to hear from in a minute. Created in Australia to get around the obstacle of export restrictions on crypto from the US. In 1998, SSL EAY stopped, work stopped, and a small group of volunteers decided to fork the code, and that is what became OpenSSL Library. It was quickly adopted by many and widely used across all different sectors and industries at the very time that the internet was increasing in usage and popularity. And that's the way the project continued for many years, a small group of volunteers working together, trying to deliver this project to the world. Mostly unnoticed until, that is, we hit 2014. And of course, 2014 was the year that the Heartbleed bug made the headlines. Now that was quite a sort of critical moment in our history. Lots of things changed. A small number of funders stepped forward with gifts to help fund some engineering. And so for the first time, we were actually able to have some full-time people working on the project, and that's actually when I joined back in 2014. It's also the time that the OpenSSL Foundation and the OpenSSL Corporation, as we know them today, were first formed. And again, that's the way we continued for many years, another 10 years, until 2024, last year, back in March, and again, we entered a new era. So up until that point, the people working on the project were contractors working for the corporation, and we decided to reorganize. And for the first time, we moved some full-time people into the foundation itself. So the foundation is there. We protect the project's open source independence, and we serve individual developers, academics, distributions, non-profits, the non-commercial communities. So I would like to just talk a little bit about the mission, about what it is that we're trying to do here. This is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 12, and Article 12 is all about privacy. Now, the declaration was written many years ago, before the advent of the internet. So it doesn't talk about internet and all of that sort of online stuff there, but the principles are still true even today. And I would argue in our modern society, privacy is at risk more than ever before. In fact, in many ways, protecting our privacy is harder today than it was when the declaration was first written down. The only way to achieve privacy on today's world and the internet and networks as we know them today is through strong cryptographic tools. And so we have the OpenSSL mission and values. This is a shared mission a shared set of values. Both the foundation and the corporation are signed up to these, as well as other projects, such as Bouncy Castle and CryptLib, and we've got representatives from both of those projects here today. So let's just think about that mission in detail. Everyone needs access to modern cryptographic tools and protocols to secure their privacy. It doesn't help if only one end of the communication has access to those tools. Both ends need it to secure privacy. Now, most individuals do not have control or the skills necessary to implement their own communication tools. They rely on others to do so. We need those cryptographic tools to be ubiquitous. And so only by everyone having access, free access, are we able to achieve that ubiquity. And I believe that open source is critical to helping us achieving that mission. Only through open source can we achieve that ubiquity. I'd like to just briefly mention the Foundation and Corporation are advised by representatives from our community. Our community is so important to us. And we divide our community into different subsections. We have the individuals, small business, large business, distributions, academics, and committers. And this graph shows you where the contributions, the code contributions to the project are coming from. I'm not going to go through the numbers in detail, but I'd like to highlight, if you like, the individual contributions. So that yellow section there, those are the contributions coming from individuals, people who aren't paid to work on OpenSSL at all, and yet there's a significant proportion of our contributions come from people who just do it because they want to. And these people are so important to the project. So let me tell you about the foundation itself. So first of all, who are we? This is the entire list of foundation staff. So obviously there's me. I'm the president and senior software engineer. We also have Thomas Moraz, who's down the front here, public support and security manager. Richard Levitt, unfortunately unable to be here today, but one of the long-serving members of the team has been around on the OpenSSL project since near the very beginning. We have Amy Parker, our Chief Operations Officer, John Eriksson, Communities Manager, Daniel Kubek here. Delighted to see Daniel here, new starter, only been with us for a few weeks, so already throwing himself into OpenSSL Live. Igor Ustinov down here, not even yet started with us, and still here today. So that's fantastic to see. And Ryan Hooper, who works for us 50% of our time, donated time from Cisco. So that's fantastic to see Ryan with us as well. So we've told you what the project mission is. What does the foundation do? So this is our mission. The foundation works to ensure that everyone, including non-profits, academics, and independent developers, has access to fundamental data privacy and security tools that are the backbone of internet protection, quietly safeguarding millions of users. We do this to help build a safer internet, one that serves the public interest and upholds privacy and security as foundational rights. Okay, so what does that mean? What do we actually do? So here are some of the things that we do. So staying ahead of security vulnerabilities. So I introduced you to Thomas, who's our public support and security manager. runs the security response team. So that's a critical part of our work, obviously working in conjunction with the corporation. We innovate new features, manage the GitHub issue backlog, and build a thriving community of users. I would encourage you during your time here to come and have a chat with John. John, just put your hand up again. If you see John, please come up and have a chat with him. He's our communities manager, our essential link to all of you guys. So let's get even more specific, some specific things that we are working on at the moment. If you're at all familiar with the code, you may have heard about our big num functions. This is the code that helps us do the maths, if you like, on very large numbers, which are essential to so many crypto algorithms. Now, the big num functions have a known design flaw with them, which we've worked around for many years. So by redesigning them, we can avoid all those workarounds and fix the root cause of this problem. So this is long requested work that's an essential part of keeping OpenSSL secure for everyone. So this is something that you're going to be hearing much more about from the Foundation team over the next year. We've secured some funding from Sovereign Tech to work on this. And so that's what we're going to be doing over the next year. Another thing that we've also received some funding from Sovereign Tech for is to start addressing the GitHub issue backlog. It is an unfortunate reality that we get more issues being opened than we can close at the moment. So on average, we get 2.5 issues opened every day, and we close 2 of them. So that's half an issue every day. You start doing the sums, and you realize that actually, wow, that starts to build up. So this is something that we're seeking to tackle, and again, that's something we're going to be working on over the next year. And another thing, we have funded some scholarships for individuals to attend this conference. If you have come here today as part of a Foundation scholarship, can you put your hands up? A few hands in the audience. Thank you for coming. It's great to see you. I hope to meet you all at some point over the conference. Thank you for coming. Okay. So another essential part of the Foundation is our advisory committees. So we were meeting representatives of these guys yesterday. These represent your voice. So we have 2 committees. We have a business advisory committee and our technical advisory committee. They are elected from amongst the communities. So if you don't already know who your elected representative is, go to the website, go and find out who they are and introduce yourself and have a chat with them. So I talked at the beginning about small steps. I told you about my small steps that I made to get involved in the project. You've already made your first small step by coming here today. But what are the next small steps that you can take? Well, one thing you can do is donate, whether that's individually or your company. We have a whole set of how to donate pages on the Foundation website, OpenSSL-Foundation.org. If you scan the QR code, you can go and visit our website. Our sponsors provide critical support for the Foundation, and I am delighted that some of those sponsors are in the audience today, and I look forward to meeting all of you over the next few days. If you're a developer, you can go read our guide on contributing to OpenSSL. So if you go to our GitHub site, there's a contributing guide. You can go and read that and find out how to contribute code. There's also a guide for everyone on the Foundation website. There's our Get Involved page. Go to OpenSSL-Foundation.org, get involved, and there's a whole set of ideas of things that you can do to get involved. If you haven't already, go and join one of the communities on OpenSSL-communities.org and take part in the conversations with our business advisory and technical advisory committees. There are, incidentally, some elections for our Business Advisory Committee coming up soon. Keep an eye out for those. I think that's going to be announced in the next week or so. John's nodding his head, so that's good. So please take part in those elections, vote, or even consider nominating yourself if you want to take that plunge. But whatever you do, please provide feedback to your elected representatives. Go and read our blog page. We have an active blog on the Foundation website. There's another blog on the Corporation website as well. Go read that. It's a fantastic resource to find out what's going on in the OpenSSL world, what things are happening, new initiatives that are going on, stuff about the conference. All of these sorts of stuff happens on the blog page. So if you're not reading that, please go and read that. And I realized that there was another bullet which has got chopped off the bottom of my slide. The last point, I think, was follow us on LinkedIn. This is another great way to find out what's going on. We regularly post on LinkedIn all the exciting things that's happening in OpenSSL world. And I can't finish my talk without mentioning our sponsors. As I said, some of these people are in the audience today, and we are thankful to all of them. I'm not going to read them all out, but here are some of our leading supporters. We also have a list of supporters on the website, a longer list, so please go and have a look at those. These companies are essential to enabling us to do our work. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening. Please enjoy the rest of the conference.